Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it. Odin, help me. So, it's been a while since we've gotten a Saints Row game, at least a brand new one. We did get a remastered version of 3 for the next gen and last gen consoles. And it's actually pretty cool. It's really a lot of fun reliving memories and whatnot. For those of you that don't know, Saints Row initially started out as a GTA clone. But of course, nobody wants to stay with that kind of moniker. GTA did it first, obviously, or maybe not even first, but they did it better, according to many people. And then came a whole bunch of other games that were kind of mimicking it. And of course, they were dubbed clones of GTA. Now, Saints Row being one of them, the very first one was very much like that game. The second one, it kind of took off and did its own thing. There was a little more humor, there was a little more kind of themes that don't really go along with Grand Theft Auto and that series, and it started to differentiate itself from that. And then finally we had part 3 of Saints Row, and Saints Row 3 was over the top. It was kind of wild. I mean, you're running around with phallic shaped bats beating people up. You're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. This insane Genki thing where you're running around killing mascots. All kind of wild. And then they made part 4. Part 4 was even way further over the top. Dealt with aliens, dealt with the blowing up of the earth and stuff like that. You know, every time they figured that they would go bigger and bigger and more ridiculous with this game, and it really did stand out. You got Get Out of Hell, in which one of the characters, or two of them actually, end up going to hell to save the boss. It's just wild. You gain more characters that come into your criminal empire, and they're pretty wild themselves. They're all memorable. Some of them are hilarious. Some of them are over the top. It's just a lot of fun. Now, we get an announcement about a new Saints Row game coming out. I guess they got enough cash together with the sales from the remastered versions, and they decided they were going to make another Saints Row game. And people thought it was going to be a remaster of the first and second one, which some people will argue that the first and second Saints Row were the best. Others argue that the last 2 or 3 entries were the best. I enjoyed most of them. I really didn't enjoy the fourth one, but that's not what this video is about. The video is about Saints Row and the new game that's coming out. So, as I said, people thought it was going to be a remake of the first and the second one. Volition said, no, it's going to be a reboot. And I thought, okay, it's either going to be brand new characters or a brand new situation, or it's going to be the same characters, and they're just going to redo what they did with the characters in a whole new way. The end of Saints Row 4 actually gives you access to a time machine where you could go back and rewrite the entire series if you wanted to. Same thing with Get Out of Hell. There's actually an ending where you can remake the entire world. And I figured, okay, regardless, it's going to be Saints Row. It's going to be gangsters. It's going to be insane situations. It's going to be all kinds of wild nonsense. And that's not what we got. This is what we're getting. These are the leaders of the Saints. I'm not making that up. This is the gang, or the start of it. Now, a couple of things I want to address before we really get into this. This person right here is supposed to be the boss, your character. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into this because a lot of people really kind of got offended. They thought that you play as this character and nobody else. You can customize your character. You can customize your boss as you've done with every single game. People just got a little bent out of shape because they thought that they had no options, that this was the only option, and that's kind of over the top. That's not what I want to address. I want to address a couple of things. First of all, I want to address the trailer that came out for this game and why I didn't like it and what people are saying. Now, I'm not going to play that trailer. You can go watch that abomination yourself. It really was not good. And the reason that I say it was not good was because when you watch a trailer like that, it's supposed to hype you up to want to play the game. You want to play the game. Saints Row 3, when they had that commercial or they had that video that you could look up where it had Kanye West's Power playing in the background, and you saw all this nonsense going on in the Saints headquarters, that was absolutely amazing. That was absolutely incredible. That's how you hype somebody up to go play a game. The game trailer for this game, not so much. The characters just don't seem to fit the whole Saints narrative or even a gangster kind of narrative. It just doesn't seem to work right. I just don't understand what they're doing. It was really kind of odd to me. I couldn't believe that they would have these characters as saints, and it looks like they're fighting actual gangs. They're fighting real gangs, like actual gangs. It's four just people that are nowhere near gangsters fighting real gangs. It just didn't make any sense to me. And the narrative doesn't make any sense to me. I'm hearing so many different stories. I keep trying to find the actual story, but there's so much misinformation. Some people are saying that it's that they were all from different gangs. They left their respective gangs and they're going to form their own gang. And it gets weirder from there. Eli over here refers to the gang as a startup, which is actually kind of smart because, you know, if gangs are smart, they would act a little bit business-minded, not just running rampant and whatnot. So I could roll with that, honestly. Nina is your mechanic and driver, and a lot of people have referred to her as a crossover between Shondi and Kenzie. I could kind of see it, but it's whatever. This doesn't look like a mechanic or a driver, honestly. And Kevin over here is a DJ, and nothing screams gangster like a DJ running around shirtless wearing purple bracelets. That's absolutely gangster, I guess. Not sure. Anyway, the developers have said that they want this to be a different type of game. I kind of get that. They want this to be something where it's brand new, it's fresh. They want you to be able to invite these guys into your living room and spend time with you and whatnot. And they want them to be relatable. So already there's a bunch of red flags. First of all, any gangster you do not want in your living room ever, if it's a gangster, at all. Secondly, why does anything have to be relatable? In all honesty, Saints Row has never been relatable. You shouldn't be playing Saints Row games and saying, oh man, you know what? That's perfect representation of me, of my friends, of what we do. No, it's supposed to be absolutely insane. It's supposed to be ridiculous. It's supposed to be stuff that you would never do, that you know you would never do. You are technically, basically living an alternate life, an alternate reality. When I play Final Fantasy, I don't relate to people wielding giant swords living on other planets and whatnot, trying to save the Mako of the Earth. Alright? When I play Doom, I don't feel like I relate to some person who's going around murdering demons. I don't do that for a living. I can't see myself actually doing that for a living. Games are a way of escaping. You should not be relating to the game. On top of that, There is absolutely no need for it to be anything other than compelling. It should compel you to want to play. You should want to play the game. It should capture your interest. It should not be relatable. I'm actually getting tired of like this narrative that we have to have like a ton of inclusion and stuff like that in the games. You know what I'm saying? If they just happen to have a game where you play as a Latino, not Latinx. Don't ever call me Latinx. I'm Latino, okay? A Latino YouTuber who happens to be an assassin. If I would I play that game? Maybe. Depends on the story, depends on the controls, depends on how much fun it is. All right? I don't need to be represented in every single game. I don't mind playing as a woman. I don't mind playing as a white man. I don't mind playing as a black woman. I don't mind playing as an Asian transgender. I don't mind playing any type of game. You just should not be throwing in my face what you think my values should be. I'm playing a game to escape reality. I don't like politics in my game. I don't like religion in my game. I don't like, identity politics in my games. And it's not because, I don't believe in God or, I don't have a political leaning or anything like that. But the whole thing is that when you play a game, you should be able to escape. You shouldn't have to deal with any real world things unless it's like a historical game or a real world thing that you are into. It shouldn't be in every single game. Games were supposed to be fun. They were supposed to be challenging. They're supposed to be compelling. I'm not supposed to look at a game and say, you know what? That guy kind of looks like me. I kind of feel like this is the game for me. These are gangsters. This is Saints Row. This is what the game is, was, and always will be to me. It's just a wild imagining of a street life that you will never live. And that's fine. That's what the game is supposed to do. This is not a gang. This is not Saints Row. This is if a BuzzFeed employee, a freaking Google employee, and somebody who has an Instagram page all got kicked off of their platforms and decided to create their own startup, their own version. This doesn't even look like Saints Row. It's not the same graphics. This looks like Fortnite on crack. That's what this looks like. This is Fortnite Season 7. That's what it is. It's nowhere near Saints Row. It looks like this. This is the Saints Row that they're selling you. You're not supposed to be able to see something like this actually go and defeat something like this. These are the gangs you're up against. Are you serious right now? If I was a gangbanger and any one of these guys approached me to join their gang, I would laugh in their face. There's no way I'm joining up with any of these people. None of them are leading me. None of them are leaders. This is absolutely crazy. This is not a gang. It's a study group, and they're trying to get together to figure out a Ponzi scheme so they could pay off their student loans. And the way they're going to do it is to take over every Starbucks in the tri-state area. They're not going after gangs. They're not going and fighting. This is dumb. And it's not compelling at all. At all. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but the gameplay trailers, when those come out, that's when you're going to see the real action. That's when you're going to see what this game is all about. You know what? You failed me at the trailer. You failed me. It didn't even get to see gameplay. You already failed me. The game should be compelling. Probably you should have led off with some gameplay. Some people are hoping that these guys are just here and they disappear somehow and the real Saints show up and whatnot. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Now, the trailer is getting ratioed. Their Twitter accounts are getting ratioed. People are not happy with this at all. And, of course, Volition is not backing down. They're doubling down. They're saying, that's just too bad. They're saying things to the effect, if you don't like it, don't buy it. And you know what? That kind of mentality kind of screwed Battlefield 5, didn't it? You said, if I don't like it, don't buy it. I took your advice. I didn't like it. I didn't buy it. Neither did anybody else. So bad that Battlefield 5, it did terrible numbers, and then they came out with another Battlefield really, really quick. I don't think they're going to do that with this. How do you take a dead IP and then really go over the top to kill it? That is some Saints Row type stuff. And this is absolutely sad. You know, I was excited to hear about Saints Row. I was really happy to hear that they were going to do a reboot. I says, you know, even if it's not the same Saints, as long as it has the same mentality, the same action, the same, you know, everything. And it may have all those things. It may have the same action, the same audacity that this game had. But it just doesn't have the same feel. We should stop making games and putting politics and inclusion in those games. We should start making games just to have fun, just to do things. Things that we'd never normally do and we'd never dream of doing, just for the sake of having fun. Just for the sake of being kind of crazy. Even if it was serious, even if we take it back to Saints Row 1 and 2, which a lot of people were hoping for and a lot of people wanted, even going there, I would have been okay with. But they do this so that way games journalists can, you know, say it's so stunning and brave, that it's absolutely incredible, that it's amazing, that they can identify with all the characters. Nobody identifies with those characters. Maybe game journalists, because a lot of them lead boring lives. You know, again, I don't identify with any of those characters. I wouldn't, not even the boss. And I haven't even created the boss yet. I just know that if I was going to start a gang, I would not pick all those characters. I would not pick any of them. You know, maybe have a couple of those smart people in the background, kind of like Kinsey. Kinsey, you know, actually went out and did a couple of missions and whatnot, but mostly she was their IT, she was their computer nerd, and that was absolutely fine because she had her place. She was an asset. This Eli guy really does not seem like an asset. He seems like, you know, a back office kind of guy, which is where he should be. You know, just giving us direction about what we should do with our money or certain, you know, computer-related items and whatnot. That's what he should be doing. He should not be a leader of the Saints. That's ridiculous. None of the characters actually impressed me. None of the characters, you know, enticed me to want to play this game. And I thought it was absolutely ridiculous that these are the guys who are going to take down all these other gangs. It seems implausible. Impossible even. Not even implausible. Actually impossible. These are gangsters. This is Saints Row. These are hipsters. This is Hipster's Alley. This is not a Saints Row game. And again, I wasn't compelled based alone on the trailer or even the small gameplay trailer where they actually showed commentary from the developers when they were talking about the game itself. So, I don't know. I am going to pass on this. It's probably something I'm not going to play. I am going to play all the original ones, though, because I enjoyed those greatly. But this new Saints Row, this just isn't it for me. Anyway, let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think? Do you think that it's worth a playthrough? Are you going to give it a shot? Do you think that Saints Row is even more dead than it was? And what do you think of like the game? I know people keep throwing woke around, like it got woke, it's woke row. I don't feel that it's woke. I just feel like there's too much insertion of, you know, people's selves. Those other three characters are probably people that actually work at Volition who decided to self-insert, and it's weird. Anyway, let me know your comments. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps this channel out an awful lot. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, take care, be good, stay safe, take care of each other. I'll see you guys all in the next one. and I'll actually see you in the actual Saints Row, not this abomination.